Okay, go ahead.
There are 4 valves coming from 4 separate water tanks to feed the system. The valves are the ones that are coming from the tank, so they can be opened one at a time, all at once, whatever captain's choice. The other 2 lines exiting the manifold are going to the water pump, the foot pump, and the domestic water pump. They're not valved at this manifold. They're simply the supply lines out, drawing from whichever valve or valves that you have open on this manifold as desired, so you can trim the boat, etc. That pretty well wraps up the water system. Bilge pumps.
Got one valve open right now?
Yes.
Okay.
One valve is open right now, feeding in tank number 1, whichever one we decided the number. You can label them as you desire, whichever one. All right, looking at bilge pumps. We have bilge pumps, which has, if you can see, there's a union which can be hand loosened right here. This is 1.5 inch is the emergency bilge pump discharge line, which goes over to the starboard side up above the water line with a check valve and pumps above the water line, exits the boat on the starboard side. That is driven by a 3500 GPH rule centrifugal bilge pump. This is the emergency bilge pump. It is activated through a float switch, which is elevated. You can test it by raising it, which is elevated to above the deep sump of the bilge. This pump will not come on unless the diaphragm maintenance pump, which is located back in the engine box on the shelf, has malfunctioned or is overwhelmed with water coming in the boat. Then this boat comes in as your secondary emergency electric bilge pump. And then there's a third, the hand pump, which we discussed earlier, which is plumbed as your third bilge pump, as hopefully never required. The float switch for the maintenance or diaphragm bilge pump, which is located in the engine box, which is a 3/4 inch line. It's not a high volume pump, it's just a maintenance pump for normal rain leakage, etc., etc. Bilge spillage, keeps the bilge dry. We'll pump the bilge down to within 1 inch or 2 of the bottom. The float switch for that is located down low on the handle. The entire assembly of bilge pumps and pickups can be removed from the boat by unscrewing this hand-tightened plastic union on the 1.5 inch line. The hose will come out of the way. The entire system is mounted on an aluminum bracket that can be lifted up for cleaning, maintenance, replacement, etc. You just have to simply move the 1.5 inch line out of the way by disconnecting the union on it to free that up. It can be brought completely up to the cabin floor for maintenance, etc.
And then the wiring portion of it?
Okay, now the wiring for all the bilge pumps is brought to a terminal strip and it's labeled here. If the pump is not functioning for whatever reason, for electrical checks, you can come and simply check the feeds right here. There's a ground and then the feed to the pumps and the float switches and the manual switch, which the manual switch is on the maintenance pump only. The emergency pump is on float switch on at all times. There's no manual control for it because it is an inactive pump until the other pump has failed. There's no reason it would ever be on or manually ran. And you can troubleshoot it on the terminal strip right here. Make sure that you got power going down to the pumps without having to pull everything out of the bilge to ascertain that. Located, this is the emergency manual bilge pump. It is a whale gusher type pump. It's activated through the furniture side by the nav station, which has a pickup in the bilge and discharges overboard through cockpit drain seacock below the water line. That's original plumbing configuration on the boat. Pretty well wrapped.